Oh, there we go, first cast. Oh, this one's better, guys. There you go, another nice little rainbow. Let's get this guy back. Good morning, guys, good morning. Adventures with John here, bringing you guys another video today. And today we are down at the Kings River. So I've never been down to the Kings River before. If you guys can see right over there, there is the dam to Pine Flat Lake. So we're gonna be fishing the Kings River right below the Pine Flat Lake dam. And I've been doing my research, and it seems like it should be a really good place for trout. I've noticed that over the last like 3 months or so, it looks like they've stocked it about twice a month. I also saw that this is like a heavily fished area, but nevertheless, you don't know until you get out here and test it out. So I'm gonna get all my gear out. Still in my normal clothes right now. Got my Crocs on, but I brought my waders out today. So I'm gonna go back to the truck, get my waders on, get all my gear, and hopefully we can get on some trout today. So pretty much our goal for today, as you guys know, for most of the videos that I do, I always set like a little goal for myself. I'm pretty confident that we're gonna get on some fish today, but I do know, on top of the stock trout that are in here, I do know they've got some big trout in here. I've seen pictures, I've seen videos of people pulling out some pretty decent, I mean, nothing crazy, but you know, I've seen some like 2-3+ pounders getting pulled out of this river. So this stretch goes all the way down, and there's a few roads that actually follow the river going down. So we're gonna test up here by the dam first. I'm gonna toss some salmon eggs. Actually, let me look at the regulations here. Okay, so it doesn't look like anything too bad. It doesn't look like there's really any restrictions up here. Really all it is just like the bag limit of 5 trout, which I'm still not 100% sure if we're going to be keeping any trout today. I've still got some fresh trout at home in the freezer. But yeah, so now that we know the regulations aren't bad, I always want to make sure it's not like barbless hooks, artificial flies only. So yeah, we're going to be floating some salmon eggs. I've also got some lures and maybe some jigs that I want to throw around. The current looks pretty strong. I haven't been up there to the dam, but the water's pretty high right now and the current's pretty strong, so I can almost assume that they have the water open out there and they're letting out water into the river. I know sometimes that can affect the fishing, and the fishing can kind of slow down a little bit when the water's on. But hey, we made the drive out here, so we're gonna give it a chance. We're gonna start up here. This is the bridge that's not too far away from the dam, so we're gonna start up in this area. I'm just gonna kind of drift some salmon eggs out as close to that white water as I can get it, and then we can just slowly start to work our way down the river and see if we can't find some honey holes out here. So yeah, let's get out there and let's try to find some trout. Well, one of my straps on my waders is broken, this one right here, so we're just gonna kind of jerry rig it just a little bit, and I'm just gonna bring one strap. Let's do it from the back actually. Oh, I gotta find the one that's not broken if we're gonna make it work. All right, I think it's this one. So I'm just gonna take the strap that's not broken and just run it over the cross, and then let's tuck the broken one in the back. As long as it keeps my waders up, I'm good to go. All right, let's get the GoPro on. Get our fishing hat. All right. And we got to put on our fishing hat so we don't get in trouble from the wife. She gets real mad at me if I go out fishing. I don't wear my hat that has the little shade blocker on it. All right, all geared up, GoPro on, hat on. Let's get out there and let's try to find some of those big trout. Alrighty fellas, well, we're all geared up now, made it back down to the water. And like I said before, we're gonna start up here by this bridge. Since it is really shallow right in front of me, it looks like I can almost wade like almost 10 feet out into the river, so long as the current isn't trying to pull me too strong. And I'm gonna get on some salmon eggs. I've got like different colors and different scents of salmon eggs. I'll show you guys the setup here in a minute. But essentially I'm gonna wait out there a little bit, and I'm just gonna toss those salmon eggs up in the white water and let that current just drift them down. And hopefully there's some trout hanging out in this area waiting for some food to come down. We'll try to make it look as natural as we can for them, and we should hopefully hook onto some fish. All right, well, I'm gonna try to show you guys one-handed here. Might be a little bit difficult, but we got 2 split shots up there at the top, maybe a little over a foot, maybe closer to 1.5 feet of leader line. And then down here swinging at the bottom, there's nowhere for me to, like, you know, set down the GoPro where you're not all the way on the ground, but I've got a little size 10 bait hook down there. So I've got a couple split shots, some leader line. This is a 4-pound fluorocarbon leader line that I'm using, down to a little size 10 bait hook. And all I'm gonna do, like I said, is get some salmon eggs on, throw it up there in the white water, let it drift down, and we're gonna see if we can find some trout. On my other pole down here, all I've got on there is a rainbow trout colored Panther Martin spinner, and I've got a couple split shots on there. But this spot looks pretty good for the salmon eggs, so I'm gonna try to get the salmon eggs out there first, see what we can get. If we're not getting any bites, I'll throw around the lure for a little bit as well, see what these fish want to bite on today. All right, guys, here we go. We got a couple of salmon eggs on there. First, I'm gonna try out just a couple of just normal red salmon eggs. I forget the brand of this one. It was the last time I went up to the Kern River. I went to a little local bait shop and picked up some more salmon eggs. So I'm gonna get these out here. Like I said, I'm just gonna throw it right up there in the current. And we're gonna see what we can do. Some other people showed up right as I went to get my pole in the water, and they're fishing, so hopefully they're not crossing lines or nothing like that. Okay, it looks like there's a little back current over here, and that's not what we want. We don't want to get stuck in that back current. So I might have to try to rethink this just a little bit. I can feel it bouncing off the rocks over there. So there's a certain point we got to cast past. We got to get into that white water where that current is drifting it downstream. We don't want it to come back toward us. And that's exactly what that first cast did. So with these rapids right here, sometimes there's a little bit of a back current. So there is the current in the middle of the river that's going down the river, but then I think we hit it with that one. But then there's also a current that kind of comes toward the bank and goes back towards you a little bit, and it goes back upriver. And that's not the current that we want, so. I don't know if I snagged something. Oh yeah, I did. Oh, I think I got somebody else's line. That might have been my old line. Oh no, did it really break off? Oh yeah, it did. Dang it, I either snagged somebody else's line that had been snagged before, or I snagged my old line that I literally just broke off not that long ago. I didn't even feel like it was that tangled, but apparently it was enough to snap it off. So, well, all right. We're about like 20 casts in on the day, no bites, and 2 break-offs so far. So I mean, if we break off one more time, I may end up having to move spots. I could throw the spinner around a little bit, see if I can get something on the spinner. But yeah, I don't know. I've got a good feeling about the salmon eggs today, so we'll see what happens if we end up using that spinner. All right, guys. Well, I broke off again, so that is the 3rd break off of today. So I decided to switch it up a little bit. I grabbed my other pole. I'm gonna throw around this rainbow colored Panther Martin spinner. Since this is my first time up at this river, I'm not super familiar where, like, you know, once I fish a river enough and I go to certain spots enough, I start learning, you know, like where the big rocks are at, where I need to be careful. And, you know, since I've never fished this river before, I'm still trying to figure all that out. So I figure with the Panther Martin spinner, at least in this spot, it's not gonna make its way all the way down to the bottom. I'm gonna be fishing like the middle column of the water. So I'm gonna give this a gander for a little bit, maybe throw this around for like half an hour, like 50 casts or so. See if I can't get a bite on this lure. If not, I'm probably just gonna walk down a little bit and try drifting some salmon eggs a little further down. But it's just not worth me getting stuck like 10 times in the same spot and losing a whole bunch of gear. So we're gonna go throw this around a little bit, see if these fish are being active, and see if they want to strike at something that's swimming around, and see what we can do. All right, well, still didn't have any luck over there. I did a couple of drifts in that same spot and was kind of paying more attention to those bumps. And I'm like 99% sure it was just my split shot that was bouncing off a row of rocks that was right there. So I decided to grab all of my gear, and there's a trailhead that starts right at the parking lot, and it goes down to the right of the parking lot, going down the river. So I'm gonna take this trailhead down a little bit and kind of peek at some of these little spots and see if we can't find a good spot to get our poles out there. Yeah, they definitely have the water on because the river is super high right now. I'm not even gonna fish this area, but I was just kind of curious if I could peek in there and even see any trout swimming around. There is some moving current in there, so I'm sure there is, but it's just not worth it for me to get my poles in the water for something that shallow. So, and with the water being so clear, those trout are gonna see me, and trout are pretty smart. They see you right there, they're gonna get pretty spooked, and they're either just gonna want nothing to do with your bait, or they're just gonna swim away and be not interested. So we're gonna keep making our way down this trail and see if we can't find a decent spot to wade out there and get in the water. You know what, this spot looks like it actually gets deep really fast. There's actually like a big drop off right here. Looks to be probably about 5 or 6 feet, I would say. So actually, let me drift a couple salmon eggs just right here real quick and see. But honestly, I don't know if we're gonna be able to wade out there, fellas. Not with how it's looking right here. Doesn't actually look like we're gonna be able to, but I can at least, drop a couple salmon eggs real quick and I guess see if there's any trout hanging out right here. Which, even if there was, I mean, it'd be pretty hard to get them to bite, I would say. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be too good of an idea, boys, to try to wade out right here. Let me I'll still throw just a couple of casts with the salmon eggs, I guess. There is a current that comes over the bank right underneath this tree over here. My guess would be that the trout would be hanging out in this area, or at least some would if it's like really hot. And it is supposed to get pretty hot today. Oh, see, look at that, like we're stuck already. We got like a big tree branch. Yeah, this is just an area where there's gonna be a bunch of debris, and probably isn't gonna be the best fishing right here. So honestly, I feel like our best bet is to just keep walking down this trail. Whoop, there we go. And see if there's any more spots on this trail that we can fish, because yeah, this spot is definitely not it, fellas. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and move to another spot. So I tried up here by the dam. This is gonna be my first spot, and I was hoping that they weren't gonna have the water turned on up at the dam, like they weren't gonna be releasing any water. But they did have the water on, and the current was pretty crazy, and I'm sure there's fish in there, and I'm sure there's ways to catch them even when the current's going real strong like that. But for my methods that I'm using today, I need the current to at least be a little bit slower. So what we're gonna do, it's only about 3 minutes down the road. There's another pool off down here that looks like it might be pretty good. So I'm gonna drive down here, and we're gonna pull off over there and kind of see what that spot looks like. But your boy's gonna get on some fish today. All we gotta do is drive down the river, try out these spots, and find a good little honey hole where these fish are hiding. All right, guys, so I got a bit of an idea, and I'm gonna have to see if I can make it happen. So there's a part of the river that runs off over here on this side, and then there's kind of a little island in the middle right there, and then the bigger part of the river's on the other side. And I can almost guarantee most people don't go through the effort to try to cross the part of the river that's on this side to go fish the other side of this little island. But, it looked good on Google Maps, and on Google Maps it looked like there were some shallow areas where I could cross. But at the same time, I know that the water is really high right now, and I'm not sure when those satellite pictures were taken. So what we're gonna do right now is just kind of walk down and see if we can't find a good spot to cross over that little portion of the river. It almost looked like a little creek on Google Maps. And see if we can't get over to that island. If not, then we'll kind of, this is a big area right here with a lot of access. So if not, we'll just kind of walk down and see if we can't find some access somewhere. But I think we'd have some pretty good luck off of the point that's on the other side of the island if we can get to it. We got one, boys. Freaking finally. Now we can just get him in. Freaking finally. There we go, fellas. Woo! Finally got our first dang rainbow of the day. Not a big one, but we'll take it, especially the first fish of the day. And this guy looks all beat up too. Looks like he's gone through some battles. Come on, fella. If you stop flopping around, I can get that hook out. All right, get this pole down real quick. Pliers away. I'm gonna wet our hand real quick. All right, guys, there we go. Woo! Self-release, I guess. There we go. First rainbow of the trip. So I drove down a little bit. I drove down past this other bridge. I did try like 2 spots along the way, didn't get any bites, didn't get nothing. And then it gets to another bridge, and then there's a road going down one side of the bridge, and then there's the bridge itself, which takes you to the other side of the river. And I saw this little break off right here. So the main section of the river goes around this little island, and there's this little break off right here that's actually really deep, and the water is still moving really fast, but not as fast as up the river above that bridge. So I decided to come down here, do a couple of casts. I think that was like our 5th cast or so, and then finally got on the first rainbow. So I'm gonna throw on another salmon egg. That's all I'm doing. I'm using salmon eggs right now, throwing it up river, letting it drift down. So let's see if we can entice another bite or 2 out of this little spot. All right, fellas, we got another one. Same spot as that other guy. This one looks like it might be a little tiny bit bigger. It's also hard to tell in the beginning because, you know, you're fighting them in the current. There we go. Yeah, that one's a little bit better than the other one. Sweet. All right, guys, there we go. Another nice little rainbow. A little tiny bit better than the last one, but let's get this guy back. You guys already know trout are really finicky. Sometimes you gotta swim them back a little bit until they take off. Otherwise, he could just go belly up and just float down the river. There he goes. Wait, okay, there he goes. All right. Same exact spot in between these 2 bushes right here. There's another little outlet right there that kind of slowly pushes into this one and then makes its way down to the main part of the river. Both of those fish, I casted out close to this bush just to, because there's a slow current right there where it slowly just drifts before it hits this faster stuff. And both of those fish were sitting right there in the middle. So I'm gonna get another salmon egg on there, and let's get another one. All right, well, they actually wanted this one. So this is a, it's like a big orange salmon egg. And I think it's got a little bit of scent to it. Both of those fish liked that one. I haven't had any bites on just the normal little red and pink salmon eggs. So right back out there, same spot, not quite as far, but catching that slow drift, going down. Oh, there we go, first cast. Oh, this one's better, guys. Come on. This one's definitely better than the last 2. Look at that, fellas. First cast after that last fish. Actually, maybe he was stuck in the fast current. I don't know. But he definitely started rip and drag a little bit in the beginning. The other 2 didn't do that. Oh yeah, oh yeah. All right. I'm not tired yet. I think I was like stepping on my net. Come on. There we go. Yep, that one's definitely better. Sweet. Well, if I was keeping any to eat I would definitely be keeping that guy. Here we go, guys. That's like 3 trout in a matter of like 5 casts, and they've all been in the same spot. So there's definitely a little spot right here where these fish are hanging out. Okay. Sweet, guys. We are 3 for 3 on bites now. All right, dude, I'll get you back right now, all right? Still got a lot of energy, huh? There we go, fellas. Nice rainbow. Let's get this guy right back to his little spot and go join your friends. Sometimes I'll use their tail and just kind of swim them a little bit back and forth. And then usually when they're ready to go, they'll just kind of kick off on their own. There he goes. All right, fella, go back to your little friends. Sweet. What was that, back-to-back cast? Let's see if we can go back-to-back cast right here. So I'm gonna throw on that same exact color. There are these ones right here, Atlas Mikes, salmon eggs, trout bait. Actually, I guess these ones just have the natural scent. They don't have a certain one, but they're just these big, bright orange salmon eggs. And whenever I was at the Kern River, the last time I was fishing up there, I ran out of salmon eggs and I went to this little local tackle shop up there. And I ended up picking up these ones, a can of the normal, just red salmon eggs. And then they also had like these really bright neon green ones that were kind of see-through, and I thought those were pretty cool. So I picked up some of those as well. I haven't used them yet, but maybe at some point today we'll try them. All right, got our little split shot down to a little size 10 bait hook. We got that bright orange salmon egg on there. And go straight across right there. Flip the bail, let that drift. And of course, we don't know how many fish are hanging out in that spot, but we've already caught 3 all out of that same exact spot. So I can imagine there could be some more hanging out right there. Just right off this little section of the river that breaks off from the main section, and it just cuts through a little bit. And there's trout hanging out. Look, oh, there was a bite. He didn't take it though. What? I'm surprised I still have my salmon egg on there. Especially these bigger salmon eggs, guys, they're really soft. So usually as soon as you get a bite, I mean, that salmon egg is gone. Either that or even just the salmon egg bouncing along the bottom, that could even take it off as well in that fast current. Oh, someone down there is yelling. They must have got like a big trout or something. Here in a minute, I might have to run back to the truck too. This was just gonna be like a little kind of get out and check the spot kind of thing. The last 2 spots I did the same thing. I didn't bring like my backpack and all of my other stuff. I just brought my pole, my tackle box, and my net. Just, you know, gonna test out the spot for a little bit. But now that we've caught some fish in this spot, I might have to go and grab my backpack and grab a water, because I could end up being here a little bit longer. But yeah, we'll fish this spot, you know, until we stop catching fish, or if we're not catching any more fish, maybe another half an hour or so before we try somewhere else. But I'd hate to leave a spot where I'm catching fish and go to a few more spots and not catch anything. So I wonder if somebody caught a fish down there or something. Somebody was yelling. I wonder if he hooked a fish, like he hooked a big fish and he lost it, because he's the way he's kind of reacting, that's what it seems like. Oh no, I cast it right on that log. Okay, we got it off. Dang, it wrapped around me. I don't want to tie on another setup right now. Whew, well, salmon egg is gone, but we still got our hook and everything. Ho, 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 ho. Holy shit. Jesus. Well, we were on and I was fighting him in the current, and he got into that real strong current, and then all of a sudden he popped off, and our bait and hook and everything came flying back toward me, and it smacked me almost right in the freaking private, dude. Oh, it broke my hook off, that's why. Ah, that one felt like a pretty nice one too. Yeah, I hooked him and he was over there in that fast current, so I was trying to fight him in that fast current, and it broke off, and the weight came flying back at us, and it hit me like right in the side of the leg. Oh geez. All right, I'm gonna run and grab my backpack from the truck really quick, so we've got some water and stuff down here and like extra GoPro batteries, and then I'm gonna come back. So let me go and do that real quick. All right, fellas, we got one. Trying to get him out of that strong current though. So the last place you want to fight him is that strong current. I've already lost one like that. There we go. All right, well, it took us a little bit, but finally got back on another one. Oh, I'm surprised he didn't get off. I got him like just barely right in the corner of the mouth. There you go, guys. Rainbow number 4 of the day. We have lost a couple, but this is the 4th one we brought in. Go. Another nice little rainbow. Let's get this guy back. Jesus. Chill, homie, chill. Sweet. Let's get back out there and see if we can pull out another one from the spot. But I think here pretty soon we're gonna go try a different spot. At least I know this is me, you know, testing out this river, trying to find spots that I know I can come back to that are gonna hold some fish. And this is definitely gonna be honey hole number 1, because we've already pulled 4 trout out of the same exact spot and we've lost 2. So I definitely know this is one of those areas where the trout like to hang out. And we'll see if we can't get one more. If we don't get any bites in like another 10 minutes or so, we're gonna go ahead and move spots either way. Just gonna kind of work our way down and see if we can find some more spots just like this one. Alrighty guys, that's gonna go ahead and do it for today's video. I already got changed out of my waders. Every time I bring my waders, I always bring an extra change of clothes, because I don't know if it's just me or if some of you guys have the same thing, but when I'm fishing with waders, and there's no leaks in them or anything, but I get totally soaked with sweat, like underneath, like my shirt, my shorts, my socks, everything I'm wearing underneath my waders is just wet with sweat when I take them off. So I always got to make sure I bring an extra change of clothes so that once I take those waders off, I can get into something dry and comfy. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. We went up to the Kings River right below Pine Flat Lake, and wasn't too bad. We caught 4 trout and then we lost like 2 or 3. So I think we hooked like 7 fish in total, something like that, but we managed to get 4 into the net. So all in all, it wasn't a bad morning. My first time up there, so I just went up there to go scout it out and, you know, try some different spots. I definitely think I'll be back. I also want to try out Pine Flat Lake at some point. But yeah, make sure you guys drop a like if you guys did enjoy the video. I'll see you guys next time, and keep fishing.